thanks for joining me on D's Analysis. We're going to be looking at Coinbase today. We've been holding this channel for some time now. Since July 2023, we've been respecting it pretty well. We've had one bounce, we've had two bounce, and this is currently potentially the third bounce. And this current move looks very similar to this one. We have a sharp downturn. We get an engulfing candle down. This one's not really an engulfing, it's close to it, where it almost closes outside of the channel. This one closes outside of the channel, and then we make some solid green candles on the way back up on the weekly. So let's see if that's what we get here. It all depends on what Bitcoin does and crypto related assets. That will lead Coinbase, of course. But I think we could definitely see a move to the upside. Maybe we chop for another week or so, and then if Bitcoin gets moving, we can push up to this 280 level. On a minor level, we need to get through 210. We need to get through this level right here. That's a minor level of support or resistance. A minor level of resistance right here that we have to break through. So maybe we chop, break out, close, retest, and then make our way up. But we don't have too much traffic once we get through this 227 through this 206 range. Once we get through here, from here on up, it looks pretty clean, and I think price can really shoot up from that point on. I think overall it looks good though. We're kind of just chopping and stalling at this level. When you look on the monthly, honestly, it looks pretty good. It kind of reminds me of what we saw prior, or maybe this turns into a wick because we still have 11 days left. So maybe this turns into a wick right here, or we get something like this, and then the following month maybe we get that large engulfing candle, something like this or like this, to push us to the midline of the channel or even higher. I think it's still a good time though, due to Bitcoin seasonality, because you have 3 years up, 1 year down, and this is the third year of going up. So you have 2023, 2024, and 2025 that are going up. 2026, based off of history, should be a down year. Nothing's guaranteed. Bitcoin cycle could change, and even this year could be a bad year because of monetary policy with the Fed, and unless we get like some kind of unemployment rate spike or something like that. But if we don't get that, I can see Coinbase shooting up with Bitcoin. So I think it's definitely a solid buy, potentially, not financial advice, of course. The other scenario I do see playing out, because we can't always be bullish on everything, if we crack underneath this channel, this trend line and bottom of the channel, we fall underneath this horizontal level of support, we retest, and we move down to this lower 120 range. It doesn't have to be that exactly, but that's just the idea. Maybe we stop here at the 145, 148 region, or we make it all the way down to 125 or something like that. That's what I see to the downside. A break, retest, and a further push down. If things hold up well, then we hold this trend line and bottom of the channel and we move up, which I would like to see. It would keep the trend intact. It would be a clean move. So let's see how it plays out. On the Bollinger Bands, we got to close outside of the Bollinger Bands on the weekly. We close outside and we're already back inside, because we normally don't spend a lot of time outside of the Bollinger Bands. We usually get a move right back in as soon as we get outside of it. So let's see how this plays out, of course. Nothing guaranteed. I think we could definitely get a move back closer to the blue band. No time specifics either. But we're kind of trending sideways along the trend line, heading towards the blue on the daily for the Bollinger Bands. In terms of SMA, we're underneath all three, so we need to break this 20, 200, and the 50 so we can continue moving up. And on the weekly, we have to break the 50 and the 20, which are going to be very strong levels of resistance. So price could definitely chop here, and that could be the two main obstacles on the way up to this mid channel line here, the dotted line. On the monthly, it does look good because we're getting a bounce off the 20-month SMA. So that's a strong level of support. I mean, you're all the way almost at the highest time frame. So that's a strong level right there. And that's probably part of the reason why we got a bounce. And the last time we got close to this 20-month moving average, we didn't even touch it, and we shot up 2 times. So let's see if we actually get another price jump here because of the 20-month in confluence with the trend line, support level, and the bottom of the channel. The RSI on the daily is looking pretty good. We're pushing up off of oversold levels, making higher highs, higher lows. We reclaimed this yellow moving average, and now we're getting a bounce off of it. So showing an increase in strength, even though price hasn't really moved as much. But this could be a good sign that maybe we're starting to build up strength, and maybe we can get a stronger move on Coinbase. On the weekly, on a larger time frame, this could be a double bottom, where we have something like that. And this is the bottom potentially, and now we move up. That would be nice. Reclaim this moving average and continue up and start building strength to push towards that middle of the trend line and beyond, because we do have to break those SMAs that we spoke about earlier. The MACD on Coinbase looks amazing. So we had a major bearish move, everything going down, increase in volume. Then you started to see it dwindle down and start getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it's non-existent. And now we just saw our first green candle. And we got the blue to cross over the orange, which is a perfect sign. So the blue can continue up and the orange can follow it. And then we can get back to this positive territory and start building some massive green candles, how we see here, and start getting some price jumps, even some gap ups. On the weekly, we're still looking bearish. We're getting to the negative territory, but we can always turn around, and we can do something like this where as soon as once we hit bearish territory, we can start to curve back up as soon as we hit it and start pushing back to the upside. On the fib, we have the golden zone here that we're bouncing off of. We're hitting the top. We're at the 0.5. We close within it, but now it looks like we're trying to get a push back outside of it. And that's always a strong level of support to continue the price. As you can see, it's kind of been a magnet for price. We bounced off the 0.5. We fell back underneath. We bounced a little bit, pushed back, another bounce, fell through, and you can see price has just been playing around it consistently. So maybe now we get that strong move completely off, how we did here. Maybe we get that strong move and we don't come back. That would be the goal. But we'll see how it plays out, because we can always fall underneath, push off the 618 and continue down to the 786. But that would be worst case scenario, of course. Now moving it to smaller time frames. So the start of this move, in this case, we'd be bouncing off the bottom of the golden zone, which is the 618. Take this off. So it'd be bouncing off the bottom of the golden zone, the 618, which is also still part of the same thing that we were speaking of. It's together with that other golden zone that we have on the larger time frame, or on the larger scale. And this should still be a strong level of support with the trend line. There's a lot of things together that are showing that price could move up higher. And then we can possibly push to the top of this channel and get a move like that to the top of the channel. And maybe we make a decision there. So this first move, when we pull from here to the bottom, price was a magnet at the 1618. As you can see, we broke, retested. See, price keeps coming to the 1618. And we also made it to the 227 and the 2618 and to the top of this high right here. And we pull it to the most local. Oops. We pull it to this bottom here and to the top of this move right here and see what that marks out at. And the 1618, if we continue that trend where 1618 is a magnet and then continue on to higher prices later on, this could be 5-10 years, who knows? Could be much sooner as well. But I don't want to give any crazy price targets. I want to do things that are realistic. So the next thing to focus on after we get through all of this, the middle of the channel, is getting to the top of the channel and price being attracted to the 1618 here, which would be similar to what we saw in the moves coming up here, where price was bouncing around this 1618 and eventually pushed to the 2618. So that's what I could see in the longer term. But I think overall it should be good, because I think Bitcoin's going to do well. And I think it's going to bring anything that's Bitcoin related or crypto related along with it once Bitcoin really starts building some steam. But until then, I'll see you in the next one.